This is Three Beards Media. Real talk, no filters, no scripts. From sports to culture, we say what others won't. Turn it up, lock in, because it all starts right now. Live from the AKC Andrew Downs Studios and powered by Revelton Distilling Company.
If you want to know where the storm rolls next, you gotta read the clouds over old Midwest. Every yard, every basket, every mat that's worn. You learn to see the future by tracking the storm. We're tracking the storm, watching it form. From Jack Trice's courage to the heroes yet born. Hilton lights shining like lightning in the night. Jack Trice's way, glowing in the stadium lights. From the sweat in the barn to the roar in the stands. Every cyclone story's written in the land. Yeah, the path gets clearer with each legend swarm. We're keeping eyes on tomorrow by tracking the storm. Dwayne Crutchfield, pounding turf like rain. Big 8 Saturdays, driving through the pain. 2 years, rushing past 1,000 on the ground. Made the whole conference feel that thunder sound. Then Troy Davis hit the hole like a flash. Back to back, 2,000 turn records into ash. Heisman nights, but win or lose that day. The cyclone in his chest never blew away.
What's going on, Chris Shipley?
How are you, Keith?
Man, living a dream, buddy.
Excited for another episode of Tracking the Storm?
Always watched the great golf tournament here today, the Memorial. I was actually at the Memorial in 1992, I believe it was, and I got to meet Jack Nicklaus and Tom Weiskopf, and so that's always a special tournament for me. I love watching the thing. So
Very
I
cool.
really like what we got going on tonight, buddy.
100%. Yeah, you want to talk about a transition from last week to this week.
Right. And I hope you got that dialed up with Alex's, a little bit of helpful hint or whatever it could be for our guest this week. But I'm real excited. This was the first current player that we've had on Tracking the Storm, right out of Southeast Polk, and a two-time champion in 5A or 4A in Iowa, and been at Iowa State as a quarterback now. I think this is going into his third year. So redshirt sophomore year, Connor Moberly.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
There he is.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, really appreciate this.
Connor, Keith gave you a little bit of a brief
question for you. When did
you
guys start your summer?
You broke up there, Keith.
When do they start going?
Sorry, could you ask that again? You broke up a little bit.
I broke up. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
How are we good? Are we good?
Yep.
Now?
No, you know what, Connor? Let me start with this.
There it is.
Let's start with this.
I'm breaking up, I guess.
Yeah. Why don't you hop out, Keith, and back in?
Off and come back in.
Yep.
I'm not hearing you.
Yeah, I would log out and log back in.
Are we there?
Let's just drop him out for a second, Connor.
That's all good.
So he gave you a brief little introduction. I'm from Norwalk. Talk a little bit about Southeast Polk and how much of a powerhouse it was over there at Southeast Polk. I mean, you had your former teammate Abu Sama there with you, things like that. Tell me a little bit about your time there at Southeast Polk.
Yeah, it was a great time. It was obviously a good time for Southeast Polk football. I mean, dynasty kind of started when I was a freshman. That was the first time we won it, and then really just going on to varsity. And the guys that were with me, obviously, like Abu, Caden, Proctor, Carson Robbins, who's up with me now, Sam Zelinovich, Brad Zelinovich's son, and just like guys like that. And finding guys like that in Southeast Polk in a small place like that doesn't happen often, and having the success we did, it's just a credit to the guys that we grew up with and played ball with forever growing up.
Yeah, I mean, didn't dawn on me that Caden Proctor was there as well, things like that. Tell me a little bit about your recruitment to what was your recruitment like coming out of high school?
Really just started my junior year, kind of started out with summer camps before I ended up taking varsity snap. Went to all the Iowa camps like UNI, Iowa, Iowa State, and ended up getting a UNI offer before I even started playing varsity. And so that kind of jump started that. And then after my junior season, the day after the state championship, we were playing at home, and I was on a game day visit, and Coach Campbell offered me. So that was like my first big offer. And then come to know about probably 3-4 months later, I ended my recruitment and committed, because that's really where I wanted to be. And just talking with other coaches, it just wasn't anything like Iowa State for me.
Keith, you back with us?
I think so. I mean,
yep,
how's the sun
now?
All right, cool.
Yep.
Cool. Anyway, that's good. So I kind of missed what you guys first started.
That's right. I just asked him a little bit about where he was at in Southeast Polk and what it was like to get recruited. What was his recruitment like a little bit? That's kind of where we started. So
you had a couple good players on that team.
Yeah, we had some really good players. Right.
So I remember Southeast Polk kind of being like more of a smallish school when I was even at Iowa State. I guess it's been a lot of growth out into that area and into the southeast corner of Des Moines, and is that where all the growth came from? Because
yeah, and that's what I kind of touched on. Yeah, that's what I kind of touched on earlier. Like, I said, like a small group. Like, it's not that big of a school compared to like West Des Moines Valley and Dowling and like those bigger schools in the metro area. So like getting a group of guys that were that good and that many people that went to college, and like it's not even just like those main guys that went D1. Like there was multiple guys at multiple levels, JUCO, D2, like all across the Iowa. Like, so there was a lot of talent in a small area of just little area of East Des Moines, and then like Pleasant Hill and Altoona. That's really about it.
Yeah. Now who's the head coach there? I can't remember.
Brad Zelinovich, yeah. Brad Zelinovich. He's going to be a Hall of Famer one day. Yeah.
Yeah, that was solid coach. And that, that kind of tells you what it's like. I mean, he's developed that from probably all the way through the elementary schools all the way up. So
yeah, he's a legendary coach. There's a lot of credit for all of us that have came out of that school. That he's developed us a lot, and he's built relationships with coaches, college coaches that can come in and they can even recruit us. So that also helps with how many relationships he's built throughout his coaching process.
Yeah, man.
That's right. We've talked a lot to different players here about what brought them to Ames and what they fell in love with. People that, just last week we talked to Alex Espinoza, who grew up in East LA, and Iowa was a complete foreign concept to him. But you growing up right here in the Midwest, and growing up, Iowa State wasn't exactly doing super great. I mean, we had the Chiswick years, and then Paul Rhodes, and we were competitive, but we just weren't at the cups there. What made you grow up as an Iowa State fan that was the place you wanted to be? You knew that's where you wanted to go.
I gotta say, my parents, obviously, just growing up to going to season tickets, so they've had them for, I think, 18 years now. So, I mean, they've had them for a while, and they both went to Iowa State, both graduated from here. My brother graduated 2 years ago, and really just growing up, going to games. I mean, obviously, like you said, we're having the success that we did with like Coach Campbell years, but like I loved going to tailgates, playing in the open tailgate lot, grass fields, growing up, just loving football. I mean, that's just one thing that I fell in love with, is just the game of football. And then it just came to be, once I started to grow up and like mature and realize, like I can actually understand the game and like watch the game, is like Coach Campbell years is when we were having more success. So that's when I realized, like, if we can play with teams like Oklahoma and Texas, like in the Big 12 at Iowa State, this is a place that I can play.
You ever sit there sometimes and just be in a surreal moment? You grew up, you probably were over there on the grass hills, sliding down the grass hills, playing, jacking around. You ever run out and look over there and just look at those kids and go, man, I've kind of come a long ways?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of say that in my head a lot of the times, and really that first run out was like surreal to be on like the other side of it, and like even the spirit walk. I remember as a kid that was so cool to even touch the players' hands, like them walking into the game. So just me being able to run out and like once the smoke reappears and it's just packed stadium, Jack tries, it's just like, man, I remember rushing the fields after them winning big games and me being a fan and being so excited. So just being there is definitely surreal. And I've came to that moment like, wow, can't believe I'm here plenty of times.
How do you explain that to the guys from, that are coming in on recruiting visits? Maybe they're out of St. Louis or they're out of Texas or Florida or California or wherever they might be. How do you explain that to them?
It's tough to explain, but they already feel it though. A lot of the guys tell me the fan base is just insane. They'll go to the gas station, they already know who they are from them transferring in. They've seen the news, they know who they are and everything. So, and growing up, our fan base has always been amazing. I've traveled to Kansas City for basketball, multiple bowl games. Iowa State fans travel well. We all know that. So, and I feel like it's tough to describe, like what you're saying. It's tough to describe until they actually feel it, which won't be until the season. But they'll know soon to come.
I live out here in Indianapolis and have been with a couple different golf clubs. And all I talk about is Iowa State this, Iowa State that. It never leaves you.
Mm-hmm.
So much so when we're watching I'm watching a ball game, I'll get text messages from the guys that I play golf with that have no allegiance whatsoever to Iowa State, and they're cheering and pulling for the Cyclones. So
yeah,
it's infectious. I know what I believe and how I carry myself with it, but they see it in other avenues too, not just myself, which is really cool. It is a special place. There's no question about it. It goes everywhere. Whenever I travel, and I'm on the road almost every week, I'm flying the colors wherever I go. I've got a vest on or pullover or a hat or something. I'm always wearing Iowa State gear. So it travels well, to say the least. So.
Yeah, once a Cyclone, always a Cyclone.
Ain't that the truth?
For sure. Did you you came in that freshman year that you came in, it was kind of a stacked QB room. Rocco was already there. I think you came in with Coles, with JJ, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the same recruiting class? So you guys had quite a bit of talent in that room. And I remember that first time that it became apparent that you had become the number 2 was you had, I don't remember the exact situation, but I just remember looking at my wife and my friends and we were like, Connor's in? Everybody assumed it was going to be JJ. Talk a little bit about that process and what that relationship was like, what that competition was like, and when you found out that you were going to move into that number 2 slot.
Yeah, so JJ was, when I came in, JJ was 1 year above me, but obviously Rocco had that his freshman year, that was his first year starting, and after the Liberty Bowl where he went crazy that game, so him coming off that game with a lot of confidence going in. So obviously what I was planning to do is just learn as much as I can because I graduated early, so learning from Rocco, learning from JJ, and then through spring ball, I was a 3 the whole way, third string, just trying to get as many reps as I can, learn as much as I can with the new offense coming out of high school, learning a college offense, learning how to play college football a lot quicker than high school football in Iowa. So, but then I would just say that really transition happened probably come fall camp. After the first week of fall camp was when I started to get mixing with the 2s, and then really just one scrimmage. It was me making plays, my wide receivers making plays for me, line blocking. We were moving the ball and just ended up getting the 2 spot.
That had to be a great feeling.
Yeah.
When you got the call, I can't remember the game now, but was it Coach Mauser? Was it Coach Campbell came over and said, the ball's yours?
Yeah. That was my first game. That was Arkansas State. That was my first time getting some real minutes. And yeah, that was crazy. When he came over, he's like, all right, it's your time. He grabbed me, put his arm around me. He's like, you've been working for this and we trust you. And it's it's time to go now. So that was very surreal.
Awesome. Yeah, that was fun to see. I actually ran into Rocco's father at the airport the next day, and we were talking a little bit about it, and it was a unique perspective to say the least, especially with the Coles having a long history at Iowa State as well, and for a true freshman to come in and do what you did, that's admirable and great job. I mean,
yeah.
Being in a competitive environment, to be, a competitor is a competitor. So
yeah.
That's fantastic. So,
well, we talked about, your time at Southeast Polk, 2 state championships. I mean, you guys were rolling there. I live in Norwalk, so it was fairly close and fun to watch. What was that transition to college like? Like, everybody's got their welcome to college moment, right? Like, I'm sure Keith, the first time he probably got smacked in the mouth and realized that he was playing against some grown men. Like, what was your welcome to college football moment?
I would just say like the first couple weeks of spring ball and like winter workouts obviously are very tough, but for football, I would just say like spring ball. That was the first week. The game moved so much faster. The play calls were a lot longer, a lot harder to memorize. And then about week 2 or 3, I think I threw a pick 6 on an out route to the field. And that was, I would say that's probably my welcome to college moment. That was not fun, chasing the ball, looking at their back while they're taking it back for a touchdown.
Everybody does it, buddy.
Yeah, it happens. That's exactly what I was feeling so bad about it, but that's what my quarterback coach told me. He's like, it happens to everybody. You gotta learn from your mistakes and just move on.
Yeah, it's not what happens to you; it's how you respond to it.
Exactly.
So it's
exactly right.
That's a great story. And then, so you go into through your freshman year, get done with that. Going into the next year, and I think that's when Mansky was coming in.
Mm-hmm.
So, he had a lot of credentials as well coming into the place, and that had to be a good battle between you two at that time as well. Talk a little bit about that, because now you're no longer hunting; you're kind of the one being hunted. And, of course, he wants to pass you on the depth chart or whatever it might be. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that was definitely it was kind of a roles flip, because when I was coming in, it was JJ who was like the high profile, and now it was me who had the spot, and then a high target coming in trying to take my spot. But it ended up, me and Alex are great friends, and we're both Iowa boys. We both played Iowa high school football, and it was good to know that relationship didn't turn toxic. And
sure.
We were good friends. Like, we lifted in the same rack every single day. We were close lockers. Like, it was cool to have that relationship with the guy that you're also competing with for a spot, but is also your friend at the end of the day, at the end of meetings, at the end of practice.
It's a great. You have to be that way. I mean, you guys are the leaders of the quarterbacks. I mean,
yeah.
I coached quarterbacks for 7 years, and one of the things we always said was NBD, no bad day.
Yeah,
you can't have a bad day. No matter, you might be having the worst day of your life, but your teammates can't see you having a bad day. That's just part of it, and that's something that I always try to coach my guys to do, and that's something as a leader of a team like yourself right now. No bad days, right? I mean, you got to take every day new and be the one out front. So that's. You didn't sign up. You signed up for it. You're the quarterback.
Yeah. Quarterback's a tough job. There's only one. So
yeah, no doubt about it.
This show we've talked a lot about, because we bring on a lot of former players, and they talk about the relationships that they have with their teammates. Keith has talked a lot about the relationships that he has with his teammates and friends that he's played with 40 years ago. So, college football is different now, right? There's transfers, guys are in or out, things like that. How are you building those relationships with those teammates, and how are you, because we've talked about what that's going to be like for your guys' generation going forward now. Like, maybe there won't be the bonds that these guys have had because they went through some of the fires and they couldn't transfer out. They had to fight through adversity together. Talk a little bit about some of the relationships that you're making with your teammates, and give a little insight to the listeners as to what that's like nowadays.
Yeah, I always feel like you hit it spot on. With the transfer portal, it's tough because, for example, Alex and Brett Eskelson, those were two of my very close friends. Brett came in the same class with me. He was a wide receiver. We worked out a lot. We threw routes a lot together. And then Alex was in the same position group, but then them obviously going to Penn State, and it's like I don't see them every day anymore like I did for the past 2 years. So, but just like talking with them and just seeing how it's going over there. And then obviously with the guys that are here, just building those relationships outside of football. Like we don't have to hang out just during meetings and walk through and lift and stuff like that. Like we can go out and go golfing, go fishing, go out to go get a bite to eat. Like, build the relationships that last a long time.
So when Coach Roll was there, you knew Coach Roll before he left and then came back, right?
Yeah. He was with us my freshman year, and then the next year, my second year, is when he went with the Lions.
That had to be a comforting feeling for a whole new staff to come in and then know that Coach Roll was coming back. That's a familiar face had to help you, in the quarterback room for sure.
Yeah. Once Rodgers told me that, like he's looking to get Coach Roll, and he thinks we'll be able to get it done. That definitely helped with me reassuring me to come back.
So you talked a little bit about Alex, and talked about Brett. Two good buddies of yours that left. What was that like in December when transfer portal? You could see a lot of your teammates going into the portal. What was going on in Connor Moberly's head at that point in time?
It was tough to see because during that week of Coach Campbell leaving, like we were all like thinking this has happened so many times. He's gonna stay. Like he's gotten so many other job offers that he's not gonna take it. And then came out that Friday that he's taking it. We had a team meeting, and it was like that next few 2 weeks, it was just like optional lifts, and like everybody was just like, what are we going to do? Like nobody really knew what they were going to do. And then once like people started to commit and like you actually see it happen, like their other fan bases are getting so excited. Like our fan base is, obviously sad to see him go, but that's tough to see your friends that you've seen every single day. You've gone through tough workouts with, you practice with them every day. It's obviously tough to see him go, but really just building that relationship with guys coming in that are new, especially since we're returning players. All of the returning guys had to definitely step their game up with opening arms and welcoming all these new transfer guys to build that same culture that we had, because obviously there was no problem with the culture or the team that we had here. So kind of just keeping that standard, and with us returning guys, making sure that is upheld.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I interviewed on my other pod on Side of the Storm. We interviewed Keaton Roscoe, who was, I think, pretty much the first guy that said, "Hey, I'm back." Like, I'm back. You know what I mean?
He was.
And he talked a little bit about that transition and the meeting with Coach Campbell. And so, from your perspective, I have a couple questions. One, what was that night like when Coach came in and kind of let you guys know what happened? And I'm not asking for. I would never ask for any betrayal of your locker room code, right? That's not what I'm asking. But overall, what was the sentiment there? Obviously, you were sad, but there had to be some pockets that were maybe a little angry.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we obviously had like that feeling, and we all had ESPN notifications, Twitter notifications that it was basically final, and then.
Yeah, I'm sure the text messages between you guys were firing.
It was kind of spoiled before, and then we ended up getting a Teamworks message. We have a emergency meeting at 8 p.m. So we all kind of knew what was coming before the meeting, but then him coming in there and then giving us reasons why, and really just after that, we split up at least the quarterbacks. We went into the quarterback room, and we're just kind of like, obviously nobody really knew what to say because we didn't really know what to expect or anything like that. So it was definitely just a tough moment. Everybody was in shock. Nobody knew what to do. It kind of took, I would probably say, 2-3 days for it to even settle in. Like, guys actually were like, dang, this is real life. Coach Campbell's gone. Probably a lot of our staff's going to be gone. Who's going to stay? We don't know, like, anything. So it was definitely a tough couple days, and then weeks to follow seeing people leave.
So on top of that, then it seemed like within hours, Jamie Pollard's already got a new coach hired.
Yeah.
So that had to be a pretty quick whirlwind, which, if you want to talk to Keith about when he went through his coaching change, it wasn't super great. But I mean, that had to be another whirlwind of like, holy crap. Like he's already hired a new coach. Like,
yeah, that was definitely a crazy moment. It was definitely instant from when Coach Campbell left, and then we hired Jimmy right away. So definitely just, I mean, doing my own research of who Jimmy Rogers was.
That's what I was going to ask. So how much Googling did you do and YouTube video deep dive did you do on the Washington State program the year before?
Yeah, and then I knew I saw SDSU. He had a record at SDSU, national championship.
Oh, yeah.
And then so I knew a couple of guys that have been recruited by SDSU during high school or who have went there. So obviously they had a relationship with him, and then asked a couple questions about who he is, what he's about, and then shortly after that, Jamie got here the next couple of days. So being able to meet with Coach Rogers and then kind of see him face to face and talk with him and really understand what he's about and what the culture he's going to bring, and then really just kind of made it a done deal.
That's awesome. That's just, I mean, I'm sure you had options, you had opportunities, you could have thrown your name into the portal. I know, just talking to a few people that know your father, I'm sure you guys had some pretty strong conversations back and forth between the leadership that your father gave you, and probably gave you the option to go do what's best for you, but being that solid force behind you had to help.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's my rock there. That's like when times were tough, that was really my biggest support system was my brother, my parents, and really, I mean, first thing I did when I got back to my apartment was I called my brother and I was like, dude, what is going on? Like me and my brother are really close, and he's a big Iowa State fan, so he understands like the magnitude of like Matt Campbell leaves, what it's going to do to Iowa State football, and how many football players that were really talented and could have got money elsewhere that were here for Coach Campbell only. So what that could do to the program. And then talking to my mom and dad, obviously, like I said before, they were Iowa State graduates. They've been fans for years, but them telling me that like, you don't have to stay, like, you don't have to like stay at Iowa State just because we like Iowa State and like, we want you to be close. Like if you want to keep your options open and enter the portal, like we are perfectly okay with that. And honestly, hearing that was just like, it was really good to hear that my parents were very open with me and weren't really going to choose a side or pick Iowa State over their own son. You know what I'm saying? So It was definitely good to hear that.
Sure. I mean, character's built through the adversity you face, not what you walk away from.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it's the life lessons that you're learning through this process, and your teammates that linked arms with you and came through that process. You will talk about that 40 years later at letter winter weekends.
Mm-hmm.
You'll talk about that from every week when you're texting during ball games. I mean, we have a text group of I have 3 different text groups of about 40 different guys, and we talk every single week. Every week. We get back for letter winners weekends. It's the classes from 83 to 89 that dominate the number of people that come in there, because we went through that similar adversity that you did with coaches leaving and or being fired, and you got to link arms. And I commend you for doing that. That's a leader. That's what leaders do. They take the adversity on, and they're going to go, I'm going to fight it, and I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to come out better on the other end. So
yeah,
for that, and your teammates for that. And I know Keaton a little bit as well. He and I have exchanged text messages. I was the one that brought that. I brought the Too Hot for You into the tight end room. You seen that? Oh
yeah,
and hats.
Yeah,
that was me.
Yeah, that was you. Yeah. I love seeing those. Those are some funny gear.
we had when we were playing, we had our tight end coach. And he came in one day and he had these T-shirts, "Too hot for you," and we wore them around proudly back then. So
yeah,
it's stuck, and it's kind of been a tight end thing ever since.
Yeah, I know. Mouse was wearing that a lot. I saw him wearing that gear a lot.
So we were talking about bringing that out to the offensive side of the ball. You know, everybody on offense, and Mouse is like, "F no." He goes, "This is tight end."
He loves to have his tight end group stuff.
Yeah. So we're going to continue that tradition with at Iowa State. I just need to talk to the tight end coach and make sure he's cool with it.
Yeah. Coach Hessness, he's a great guy. I guarantee you he'll love that saying too.
Cool. Looking forward to that.
So Connor, you're in a transition now. Coach Campbell's gone. Coach Rogers is hired. You have the opportunity based off your parents' discussion and you guys having a family discussion about whether or not entering the transfer portal. Ultimately, you decide to go back to Iowa State. But what was your meeting with Coach Rogers like? What sold you back on Coach Rogers and the program?
Honestly, just like his values and what he was bringing to the table with obviously what he saw in me and what his plan to use me in the future is and what he saw for my future at Iowa State. And obviously just talks beyond that with my parents and my brother and other people that were very helpful in that situation. And honestly, just coming to a decision that like, I'm from Iowa. I love Iowa State. And there's honestly, I couldn't even imagine myself playing in another uniform. And I don't really care about who the coach is as long as he's about the right stuff and bringing the right culture in. That's all that matters to me at Iowa State. I
love that. Small question. Is there a tiny bit of you that wants to go, all right, everybody's counting us out. So now we're going to show you guys what we can do.
Oh yeah. We see all the rankings of the last in the Big 12. We see all that there. I saw there was one, it was like they ranked the top 12 teams and then the last four were just the other teams. And there was no like description about them or whatever, no picture. It was just the lettering. And we were obviously 16th, which is what they've been having us all off season. So, I mean, we hear all that and we're obviously working very hard to prove everybody wrong, but it's at the end of the day, it's proving ourselves right.
Yeah.
Yep.
There'll always be naysayers. There are always going to be people out there, especially the people from the other side of the state. They think they're maybe a little bit better than everybody else. But we've still beaten them 3 out of the last 4 years, and I fully expect you guys to go into Kinnick Stadium and kick their ass.
Yeah.
and I hope Connor already hits like 6 field goals, all from 54 yards, so stick it in their ass.
Yeah. Kyle's a dog. We still got him.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. How was that? All right. So you're in Iowa City. It's 8 seconds to go in the game.
Yeah.
54-yard field goal. That baby goes through the goalpost.
Kid's got some stones.
Yeah, that was probably the most insane thing I've witnessed. And that was what's crazy was I was a true freshman. That was we played our first game against North Dakota at home, and then our first road game, which was my first road game experience, was Kinnick Stadium. So really just I remember that, if you remember at the beginning of the game, how loud it was when we were backed up on the goal line and those false starts. It was like a jet engine in there. And then at the end when Kyle hit that, it wasn't very loud in there, and it was fun to have our sideline be all hyped up. And Kinnick, they were really close to you, so so it was fun to shut those fans up, and Kyle split the uprights. That was just a beautiful sight.
Being there, we'd get back then. You didn't have beer in the stands, but yet they had beer cans thrown at us, whiskey bottles thrown at us.
Oh yeah,
I mean, shit poured on top of us. We're sitting on the sidelines. It was
I mean, it's tight quarters over there.
Yeah, the pink freaking locker room.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. We gotta take a picture with the trophy in that pink locker room.
There you go.
Looks good in there. That's a background.
That was fantastic. So we don't want to talk too much more about it. We don't want to give them any, bulletin board material or whatever.
Yeah.
We go on to the next But so you got, Coach Rogers is in. I'm sure you talked to him prior to to the game. Actually, I'm going to have to talk about Iowa again because first time I heard him speak, it was let's beat the fucking Hawks.
Yeah,
that's right.
Game.
How'd that go? I mean, you had to be in the stands.
Yeah, I was out there. Yeah,
that had to be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even. We had multiple meetings with him before, but I did not expect him to come out like that on the floor. But yeah, what's really funny was that he said it and then he went the wrong way and then he had turned back around. But yeah, but that was funny though. He let it rip for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, not that you have to say it, but I thought that was a very appropriate time, and we kind of made a run right after that. So that's
yeah, of course, and that's who Jimmy is, and I mean that's just what he's about.
That's awesome.
Well,
I can't get over the fact that you guys you call the coaches by their first name. I never, and it's everywhere. I mean,
you didn't do that, Keith.
Hell no.
If you called Coach Donnie Duncan, you said, "Hey, Donnie," what would have happened?
No, I did not.
What would have happened? See, this is Connor. This is the epitome of the differences between 40 years of football players.
Yeah,
I want to know what would have happened.
It's multiple different names: Coach Rogers, Jimmy. I mean,
yeah. That wouldn't even cross my mind to have done that back then. Of course, I played for Coach Thomas, so it was. I mean, I call his son Coach Thomas.
Yeah,
I mean, that's how much I kind of was geared that way growing up. So I was fortunate enough. I played for a pretty historic coach up at Appleton Parkersburg for Ed Thomas, which I don't know if you even know who he is, but he was shot and killed in 2008 by one of his former players.
Oh, Appleton's Parkersburg.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
We actually, I remember that because we stopped there whenever we went to the Dome on our way up there to UNI. So yeah, that was
at Ed Thomas Field.
Yeah.
I was.
Coach G was very respectful. He was
cool.
Thought very well of that coach and talked about how legendary he was.
He was something else. I mean, we had 5 guys in the NFL off of at the same time.
I remember in the hallway there's pictures and records of all of his accomplishments and all that stuff. So
the funny thing is when he first got there, we hadn't had a winning season in probably 20 years. We would be excited if we scored a touchdown throughout in its season.
Yeah.
Not in a game, in a season. We were horrible.
Yeah.
We were horrible. But that kind of talks about Coach Zelanovich as well. I mean, that means everything, especially in the high school levels, where you got somebody to look to. And then college too. I mean, the coaching position the head coaching position is so much more than just coach.
Yeah.
He's got to be the marketing guy. He's got to be everything.
Yeah, and especially in high school with how young those kids are and development and all that stuff, getting them to realize at a young age how important that stuff is.
Right-o.
For sure.
Right-o. Should we take a break, Chris?
Yeah, let's take a break. And then, Connor, when we come back, I want to ask you maybe just some differences that you're seeing between Coach Campbell and his coaching style and Coach Rogers, and go from there. So we're going to get a word from our sponsors here at Three Beards Media and the Tracking the Storm. And then when we come back, we'll be back with Connor Moberly.
Freight brokers and shippers. Are you tired of drowning in emails, spreadsheets, and endless manual work? Introducing USFX, your AI-powered private freight command center. Simply email your PDF rate confirmation or bill of lading to intake@us-fx.com. In seconds, our AI captures every detail, sets up your shipment, verifies carriers, and launches a live digital workflow. No IT setup, no delays. Build your private carrier network instantly, send bids only to your trusted partners, and watch real-time tracking handle everything from pickup to delivery. Cut the friction, boost your margins, scale with ease. USFX, the smarter way to move freight. Visit us-fex.com today and get your
In the heart of Des Moines, one name stands above the rest. Step inside, where tradition still matters. Warm, familiar, unmistakably Iowa, where every guest is welcomed like family. Service that's personal and never rushed. Fresh starts made daily. Iowa beef, hand-seasoned. Guided by fire, built on flavor. Served with pride. A bar as bold as the menu. Featuring the old-fashioned we're known for. A place that stays with you long after the night ends. Iowa Beef Steakhouse, 1201 East Euclid Avenue, Des Moines. Steak done right.
Buying or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions you'll ever make. That's why choosing the right real estate team matters. The Jenny Farrell team with RE/MAX Concepts has been helping families across the Des Moines metro find the right home since 1998. Born and raised right here in the community, Jenny understands the neighborhoods, the market, and what truly makes a house feel like home. Whether you're buying your first home, upgrading your space, or preparing to sell, the Jenny Farrell team provides expert guidance every step of the way, from market analysis and listings to negotiations and closing. Their consultative approach means you'll feel confident, informed, and supported throughout the entire process. Jenny Farrell Team, RE/MAX Concepts. Call or text 515-779-7500. Visit jenniferfarrell.remax.com. Experience you can trust. Results you can move into.
Whiskey lovers, get ready for the ultimate experience at Whiskey Fest 2026. From exclusive tastings and live music to unforgettable networking and premium pours, this is the can't-miss whiskey event of the year. Kick things off Thursday, October 1st with the Women in Whiskey Dinner at River Center DSM. Then Friday night, October 2nd, enjoy the VIP whiskey tasting event at the Meridian in West Des Moines. The celebration wraps up Saturday, October 3rd with the whiskey tasting main event featuring incredible brands, bold flavors, VIP early entry, and more. To top it off, Old Man Strength will be broadcasting live Friday night from the VIP event. Raise your glass and join the experience at Whiskey Fest 2026.
Not every animal gets a fair shot. But that's exactly what Animal Lifeline of Iowa is here to change. Since 1986, they've been stepping in for the ones who need it most. Injured, abused, orphaned, and special needs cats and dogs across Iowa. This isn't just a shelter, it's a lifeline. As Central Iowa's only no-kill shelter dedicated to special needs animals, they provide life-saving care, rehabilitation, and the opportunity for every animal to find a forever home, no matter how long it takes. But here's the deal. They can only save as many lives as the community supports. So get involved. Donate online. Hit up the Animal Lifeline thrift store, where every purchase fuels their mission. Or, better yet, find your next best friend and adopt. Because every tail wag, every purr, starts with someone like you. Animal Lifeline of Iowa, where we provide much-needed TLC and a safe space until they find their home.
All right, we're back.
How the hell did Old Man Strength get the Whiskey Fest and we don't get it?
It's because you're out of town.
You prick.
You're out of town, that's why. Because this show's doing just fine, Keith. Old Man Strength needs some love, that's why.
All right, gotcha.
With great guests like Connor. So
That's right. That's right.
Connor,
hey, before I forget,
yep, go ahead.
and I know you've got a question. We got to make sure you come by on the 25th of June. We're going to be broadcasting this show live in the morning of the 25th for the Letter Winners Golf Outing. You should come by.
All right, yes, sir.
I'd love to shake your hand and introduce you around to some of the other folks as well. That'd be
For
really
sure.
good.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, Keith will get you the details of where that's at and stuff. We don't want to put that out online. Next thing you know, got fans coming over and everything else. So
yeah, I can be in text later.
It's all good. Connor, so you know you were what 6 months into the Rogers era here. You went through spring ball. give me a little bit of differences. What are some differences between Coach Campbell and Coach Rogers as far as coaching styles go?
Obviously, defensive mind. He's a defensive minded coach. But one thing is just like physicality, like the physicality and what we practice, how we lift, how we do everything. Like, and especially now with how many new guys we have, a new system on offense and defense. So like walkthroughs and meeting times, extra, all that. So definitely it's been more of a overload of an off season than before, but because we're behind the 8 ball, we got a lot of new guys. That's got to happen. But with Rogers, it's really just, I mean, it's all go. You're gonna be practicing really hard. You're gonna be lifting really hard, and you're gonna do the right stuff.
How's the transfer? Some of the guys coming in, how's that looking?
Yeah, they're great guys. I mean,
some standouts for you?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of just reminded me of the guys that we brought in before, like the character and like of the guys that we brought in before is just great guys. You know, like there's been guys that have been multiple different schools, guys who would transfer for the first time, bunch of freshmen. There's early grads that were committed to Washington State, then flipped here last second. They don't know anything about Iowa State. They just trust Coach Rogers and went with them. So really just trying to just build the connection as quick as we can, because, I mean, you look at the success of last season and like study last year college football, like Indiana, you look at them, they might not have the most talent and all that, but they're connected and they're best friends with each other. And like Mendoza, one of his quotes that like sticks with me forever is like, when I'm throwing a ball across the middle and like my wide receiver gets smoked, it's like I take that way more personally when it's like my best friend, and like I eat dinner with him every night. I go to the golf course with him. Like, it's a lot different when it's your best friends out there and you're playing for one another, not just for myself so I can get a big NIL check and transfer again to an SEC school.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm here in Indiana, so I saw it firsthand from day one when he got her. You know, Google me. I mean, that was Signetti is a hell of a coach, and he did a hell of a job of bringing in. They do have a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean, has lots and lots of money.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy when you think about it, but that's a good analogy, though. I mean, there's two programs. Iowa State was never a top tier or in top 50% of the football schools out there, but yet in the last 10 years they've made great strides, and I have 100% confidence that Coach Rogers and his staff are going to do the same thing with guys like yourself that are going to keep, you know, carrying that transition of culture from one to the next. I mean, that's some weight on your shoulders, and obviously you're doing a hell of a job with it. So, I mean, you should be very proud of yourself for that alone.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and you're carrying a lot of weight being an Iowa kid and staying at Iowa State. So, and I don't know. I said the same thing to Keaton. I don't know if you know how much what you did for the fan base. Speaking from a fan's perspective, right? I've never played the game. I'm a graduate of Iowa State. I'm a season ticket holder. Hell, I have a branded ambulance in my driveway that I take up tailgate, for God's sakes. Like, that's how much of a nut job I am.
Yeah.
But man, we were taking some hits as a fan base, right? Like you know, the team voted to not go to a bowl game, which as a fan was really hard for me, right? Like it was that 4-game losing streak you guys were on. I was there every day, and I was like, I'm here for you guys. And then when we didn't get to go to a bowl game, I was really sad and upset. And then when the guys started to leave, you just feel like you're getting abandoned. But then when you came in and Kyle and Keaton were like, hey, pardon my language, fuck that, we're staying, we're here.
Yeah.
You guys realize that what you did for the fan base by doing that?
I mean, like what you're saying, I guess I don't really understand the magnitude of it. It's just more of what I thought was best for my family and I and my future and what I believed in as a football player and as a man and what I want for my future. So, and obviously having the education I do here at Iowa State and just like multiple different reasons. There's a million different reasons why I ended up staying, but there's obviously open opportunities that could have been, those doors could have been open, but obviously decided to end up staying. And the magnitude of that, I mean, Keaton.
I mean, not to put more pressure on you, Connor, but
yeah.
You are a quarterback. You can handle it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but Keaton is a close friend of mine. He was when we came in together, we both graduated early. He was my roommate. Him, and Cale Berzina. We were all roommates.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So him announcing that he's staying, obviously he was the first one. And then I ended up announcing, and then it was Kyle. And then on Christmas Day was Aiden Flora, who's my roommate now. So that was really big to hear, because I remember we were having a tough conversation with him leaving or staying. So it was big to see guys like that had big minutes come back and stay.
Well, I can tell you, there's 400, 500, 600, 700 letter winner football guys, loyal sons, forever true guys. When you guys started announcing you're staying, I'm going to tell you, there was a groundswell of pride. There was a groundswell of fuck yeah. And there's, we know what it means to stay. You know, we went through it, we saw it. And the fact that you guys stayed there, loyal sons, forever true, that means something. And I sign off with it every time with that on this show is the importance of that phrase and how important that is in our fight song. And I truly appreciate that you did do it, and the rest of your teammates did that.
Yeah, yes, sir.
The other thing that I heard you talk about when I asked you about Coach Rogers' playing style, I asked the same question to Keaton, and you gave almost the exact same answer, only he used the word violent.
Yeah.
And I think I asked him, what can the fans expect in the fall from a Coach Rogers coach team? And his one word was violent.
Yeah, I mean,
and I was like, hell yeah, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, I mean, there's one thing I've never done in practice, and that's done stripping the ball or tackling and getting the ball out, punching the ball out, and that's something we've done with Coach Rogers, and that's stuff you don't think about, but as a defensive minded coach, that's stuff that's going to be game changing. Is stuff that we do in pre-practice and stuff like that, is getting the ball out, forcing the ball out. Turnovers are huge in college football and any game of football.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah.
That's really
so
good.
You talked about transfers coming in. Keith asked you about the transfers coming in and things like that. A couple questions about your partner in the QB room. Jalen is coming from Arkansas State. We played him a couple times. What's your relationship with Jalen, and have you warned him about the Iowa Winters yet?
The what?
The Iowa Winters. The Winters.
Iowa Winters. Oh,
yeah.
They got a taste of them themselves when they came in here right away.
Oh yeah.
There was it was funny. The first week they came in, it was probably the most snow we've got since I've been here. So they had a tough time with some of their cars and stuff. We had to push some cars out. But but Jalen as a guy, he's a great player and a great human being. Funny thing is before I even met him, I knew that he was going to be a great guy because Jackson Daly, who was the quarterback above me at Southeast Polk when I was a freshman, he was a junior and senior. So he ended up going to Arkansas State and was a teammate with Jalen and talked about his leadership and how good of a guy he was, how good of a teammate he was. So, and then meeting him, he's a great dude. He's an energetic guy. He's a fun guy to be around. Always got a smile on his face. And like I said before with Alex, we live together every single day and our lockers are right next to each other. So building that relationship was really cool. And I remember him scrambling around over in Jonesboro when we were on the road this past year, and he scrambled around on 3rd and 13 right in front of me, and I was like, dang, this guy's really annoying to play against. But
He was real annoying to watch too.
Yeah, he was.
I wasn't real happy with the fact that our athletic director decided to go play down at Arkansas State, but whatever.
That was a hot game. Very hot.
That's crazy. Did you follow the basketball? How's it going with everything going on with Momchilevich leaving and that kind of stuff? Or you guys have any relationship with the guys in the basketball team, or you guys kind of stay separate? Or
we see them come up for dinner and stuff like that and meals, but obviously, I mean, if you know the people from high school or if you build a relationship, you might say what's up, but we don't really see them that often. But one person that was really mad about Milan leaving was my brother. He He was the student section leader of when he was in college. So he
Cyclone
ran
Alley?
he ran Cyclone Alley and all that. So it was tough to see Milan leave for him.
I got eviscerated by the Big Blue Nation for the last week because I spoke out a little bit about it, didn't I, Chris?
Yeah. I mean, it's just
Keith
how
Keith just gave him some facts and they didn't care for it. So
You don't like my facts.
it's college athletics.
I mean, look,
Right.
I loved Coach Campbell and I loved Rocco and those guys. And now that they're gone, I hope they lose every game. So I mean, it's how it works.
It'd be kind of fun to play Penn State in a bowl game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that's one thing that we talked about with the Penn State guys, that they've been over there. Is it'd be crazy to play each other and actually line up against each other. But I know they got a couple guys on their schedule that transferred out that they'll end up playing in the Big Ten. So we'll see how that goes.
Sure. You still stay in touch with all the guys, with several of the guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of the guys that in my class, especially like Brett Eskelson, Carson Van Dinter is at Wisconsin now with Busama, my high school teammate, and then Dylan Lee's over at UCLA out in LA. So he's the guy that I was close with, and our moms are great friends. So there's guys all spread across the nation, conferences. Right. There's going to be like I said to a lot of people before, is just there's going to be a lot of football to watch for former teammates and stuff like that.
You bet.
For
Well,
sure.
Connor, I got one last question, and then I know Keith wants to do his storm anchor amendment section here. We'll do that. But my last question is you've talked a lot about the defensive mentality of Coach Rogers and where that's at, but you're on the offensive side of the ball, and we want to see some points scored.
Yeah,
talk a little bit about what the offense is going to look like and what Coach Roll has brought in.
Yeah, Coach Roll is obviously NDSU background, and then him spending a year with the Lions, I think, is really helpful. And what we're running right now is pro style offense and stuff like that. Is it's going to give college football defenses fits, I think, and I think we'll have great success. Obviously, Coach Roll loves to run the ball, but with the guys that we brought in and the playmakers that we have, we'll be able to throw the ball over people's heads and be explosive in the run game and the pass game. So I think right now our focus is just understanding our system as much as we can and just getting as many reps, whether that's walkthrough or live, as much as we can for the offense.
Yes, awesome. Take care of the football, take care of what you're supposed to do, your responsibilities, and it's up to them to stop you.
Yeah.
Offense has got the ball and they know where you're going. So
ball's a program, yes, sir.
Absolutely. So one of our segments on here is it's you're the anchor and basically you're king for the day, I say. And we're going to give you about a 20-second break. And any rule in college sports that you want to change, you get to change it.
Okay.
Think fast.
Rule you want.
Think fast. You got a corner blitz coming right now.
Yeah. I was just gonna say you're gonna get blitzed here, Connor. You got 20 seconds to come up with an answer.
This is the Storm Anchor Amendment, where our guest steps behind the podium and makes one rule change to reshape college sports. No limits, no red tape, just their decree.
You're on, buddy.
All right, I gotta be a QB favorite here. I gotta say no more intentional grounding, so we can avoid those sacks.
Wow, I was not expecting that.
We can stay in the pocket and just launch it out of bounds. We'll be safe back there.
No intentional grounding.
Oh man.
Well, based on the way the NFL's going, it probably is going to come. That will probably go true in the NFL. I don't know about college, but that's a good thought.
Yeah, it made me think fast. I gotta just think from a quarterback mind. What would help me the most?
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Right.
No intentional groundings.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Hey, do you got anything that's kind of on your mind that you want to say to any of the Iowa State folks that are out there? I mean, we've got a pretty decent live audience that listens in every Sunday or whenever we're running on Sundays, and obviously through Twitter and the other social media networks that Chris throws the things out there. Is there kind of tidbits that you want to talk about, or anything that you're seeing or you'd like to get off your chest?
Yeah, I mean, it's just great to have all the Cyclone fans watching, and anybody who supports Iowa State. It's great to have them, and what they're expecting this year, they don't really know yet. And I would just obviously like to tell them that all of our football players and our coaching staff and everybody that works in our building, we're all aligned to the same goal. We're connecting as fast as we can, learning as much as we can, and just being as prepared as we can for when we kick off for week 1, and just letting everybody know that the work being put in that building is 100%, and we're not stopping for anybody.
That is awesome.
Violent. That's what I want to hear.
Violent. That's awesome. Well, I look forward to meeting you. Hopefully I can on the 25th. I'll send you some text messages about where, what's going on and where it's going to be. Love to shake your hand. Want to wish you the best of luck in the summer. You don't need luck. You just keep persevering, look adversity in the eye and just overcome. That's what we do.
Yes, sir.
So I finish it like I always finish, from this loyal son to that loyal son. We appreciate it. Thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right. That's another episode of Tracking the Storm. Check out the rest of our content on Three Beards Media Network. Of course, right after this tonight, in about an hour, Side of the Storm is going to be on with Brent Curvey, Big Play Brent Curvey, and Marcus Pfizer. Connor, do you know either of those two guys? Have you heard?
I know Brent Curvey and his son.
Malachi.
Against him. And then you said Marcus Pfizer?
Marcus Pfizer.
Yeah, my dad talks about him, so I've heard that name before.
Just checking to see if you knew your Cyclone there, my friend.
A little Cyclone trivia there.
Awesome.
All right, everybody have a great night, and we are out of here.
Yeah. See you.
We're tracking the storm, watching it form from Crutchfield's grind to Troy's 2K storms. Seneca spinning through the rain and roar, turning third and long to forevermore. From Jack's I will to the Campbell years, we build up hope out of heartbreaking tears. Yeah, the line holds strong and the faith's reborn. We're keeping eyes on tomorrow by tracking the storm. Here comes Johnny, your fist up in the air. Tonight's show theme and that Hilton stare. Took a quiet Coliseum, turned it into a spare. Where top 25 giants learned to fear this well. Hilton magic swirling like a cyclone wind. We're nine on the pivot, made the rafters spin. Step